How's it going, everyone? I'm the Zaben, and thank you for hopping on in. Guys, it has come to me that there is a video going around from a guy with 11 million followers, so it's, it's pretty good following. He was saying that Pokemon Unite is...
This game was less about skill on the battlefield. The combat is effectively just mashing your different attacks as soon as they become ready to use. It's more about how strong you make your Pokemon before you step foot on the battlefield.
I so much disagree with this because I'm pretty much a free-to-play player. The only time I ever put money into the game was to get 2 costumes for Pokemon, and that's it. He goes on into his video to go on about how you need to throw a lot of money into certain parts of the game in order to be good, but I very much disagree with that, and we're going to get into that with this video. Hopefully I explain it right. I hope you guys will enjoy, and hopefully this will also help out some of you guys to improve your game of Pokemon Unite and maybe get you back into the game and enjoy it, maybe like how you were when you were first starting off the game. Right now we are in Pokemon Unite, and honestly guys, this is by far a good place to start if you guys are trying to get an understanding of how to get better at the game. So if you look right now, you can see that Pokemon have different colored backgrounds. You have Zeraora with blue, Venusaur has a red, Charizard purple, and Blastoise has green. What does this mean? Why does it matter? All you have to do is simply press the all Pokemon option, and you can see that on the left there are 5 different roles. You have your supporter, your all-arounder, the attacker, defender, and the speedster. So I'm going to try to do my best to explain how these Pokemon tend to be played in the games, and maybe that'll give you somewhat of an understanding of how to play as some of these Pokemon. To kick things off, we are with the Speedsters. So Speedster Pokemon is a set of Pokemon that are used to be like glass cannons, if you will. These guys are packing a punch whenever they fight the enemy. They're literally designed to basically just get strong early on in the game and then help their team by either preventing the enemies from scoring or by supporting their team to score on the enemies. They can also do some crazy stuff. They are really good when it comes to attacking the boss Pokemon. If you ever beat a boss Pokemon, it gives you benefits to your team. These guys typically are the ones that take down the boss Pokemon really fast. But again, they are like glass cannons, so they will receive a lot of damage. They are fragile. So these guys typically can sometimes hold their own, but however, if they ganged up by 2 to 3 of the opposing team members, then there's typically no chance for them to survive. So you want to look out for these guys, be very cautious with them. They're very strong, but they are very weak. So if they're on your team, try to help them out, as they will hopefully help you out. And if they're on the enemy team, maybe back away or try to put as much pressure on them as you can. Next on the list, we have ourselves the Defenders. Now, what's awesome about Defenders is that these guys are like tanks. If you've ever played Overwatch 2 or even Overwatch 1, you will know that tanks are bulky. They're big. They can take a beating before getting eliminated. And that are these Pokemon. These Pokemon are literally made to have so much defense that they can just take up a hit. And when I had played as them, I initially thought that they were only made to just be defending the goal zones. However, that is not the case in most situations. They are very good at defending the goal zones and can often stall the enemy team long enough for your own team to come in and help out. But they seem to be highlighted a lot more when they're on the offense, helping to defend their own teammates. They typically can just pull out some crazy things, and it's just really hard to counter that sometimes. If you're lucky, you can counter it by just being a higher level or something like that, but for the most part, going up against a defender or 2 on a team is really difficult. So I would definitely recommend, if you play as a defender, that you're going out and mainly just defending your teammates when in battles, and then if necessary, go to your go zones and defend your zones. We are on the attack now with our attackers. Now, attacker Pokemon, I will definitely say is, well, it's self-explanatory. Attacker Pokemon literally are designed to attack the enemy team, try to get eliminations, and of course you can score with them. Did not mean to click on that. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's the same thing with Overwatch when you have the damage roll characters. They're designed to just do damage and then hopefully get some eliminations. That's all the attackers are for. Now, there is a lot of different attackers in the game at the moment, so don't be surprised that when you do play the game that there is like a team with, like, let's say 3 attackers. That is quite common in the game. If you're lucky, it'll be 2 attackers to kind of balance out things, but it is quite common for there to be about like 3 attackers, sometimes even 4, just because of how popular the attacking Pokemon are. I would definitely recommend that if you are playing as an attack Pokemon, that you are partnered up with somebody. Not to say that attack Pokemon cannot hold their own, but let's say you're not leveling up fast enough, or you might be a little underpowered, you're typically going to do a lot better with another Pokemon, regardless of their role. You know, it could be defender, speedster, whoever, another attacker. Just make sure that you're partnered up with somebody, and you're going to be doing pretty well in your games. Coming around to it, we have ourselves the all-arounder Pokemon. Now, what's awesome about the all-arounder Pokemon is that they are a good balance of attacker and defender. These Pokemon literally can switch on a dime whenever the situation occurs. So if they are in a situation where their team is putting a lot of pressure on the enemies and they want to go ahead and score and do all that stuff, they can go in, do damage, try to get the enemy away, if not eliminated, and then they can get some points in and score on them. Now, if there's ever a situation where it's in reverse, the enemies are getting scored on them, and you know they're struggling, these characters can go back to their goal zones and try to fend off the enemies from being on their goal zones and scoring. So they're a good balance. I would definitely recommend them, at least maybe picking up one. Don't be surprised when there's at least like 2 in a game, right, in your team. Just don't be surprised, because again, these guys are in a way like universal, so definitely worth having on the team and picking up. And finally, we made it to the supporter class. Now, what's awesome about the supporter class, similar to Overwatch, and with their supporter class, is that these Pokemon are designed to heal the team whenever they can, but also they can sometimes hold up in a battle. Obviously, the healing is definitely going to be the more bigger important role here to make sure that everybody stays alive, and that other characters such as the attacker, the speedster, the all-arounders are all, you know, trying to give out as much damage as they can. So definitely the supporter class is pretty important. Again, they're just designed to heavily just heal up the team and give some type of buffs to the team, while also at the same time attacking the other team. What bothers me is that in his video, he says that you need to have held items and upgrade them to the max in order to have some type of game-changing boost for your Pokemon, which, if we're going to be completely honest, is not entirely true.
I decided that I needed some held items. Held items are what you equip to your Pokemon to give them improved stats. So I headed to the shop and I spent about half of the total in-game EOS coins I'd earned so far buying 3 items. One that increases my maximum health, one that gives me health regeneration, and one that increases my damage output. And I thought, finally, my Pokemon is kitted out. I don't have to think about this anymore. I can just play the game. So I charged into battle with my head held high, and I got absolutely demolished.
Yes, if you get held items, you do get boosts off of them, and of course, if you max them out, the boost is even greater. However, they are not game-changing boosts that you get off your held items. If you play a specific way and it works towards how you play, then you might see a big change in your game. However, that is not the case, because what he does not care to explain is that if you are using the wrong held items, it will do nothing for your Pokemon. In his video, he literally says that he gets choice specs and he puts it on his Charizard. But however, what he doesn't care to tell you is that Charizard is not a special attacker. So there's no reason for Charizard to get a special attack item when he is not a special attack Pokemon. So there is layers to this stuff. And not only that, he does not care at all to explain battle items as well as boost emblems, which also make an impact on how you play the game and how it benefits you in the game. So I'm going to do my best to go ahead and talk about all 3 categories, try to break them down, and help you get an understanding of how you might want to go about these things to improve your gameplay. I'm gonna start you guys with the easiest one of the three, and that is battle items. So we're gonna hit on our little profile on the top left, and then we're gonna scroll down to battle items. So when you start this game, everybody should start off, I believe, with potion. As you can see, it says potion restores some of your Pokemon's HP, and it happens every 30 seconds, and it's up to you for when you want to use it. I play on the Switch, so I just press a button. If you're playing on mobile, you just tap it. Every 30 seconds, you're able to heal your Pokemon from whenever you last use it. Very simple, very easy. It comes in clutch sometimes. Potion literally just heals your health. Not too bad. The next item you get is, as again you level up, you get more items, is X attack. Now this one happens every 40 seconds, but what this does, it says it increases your attack, special attack, and basic attack speed for a short period of time. So what that does is it slightly gives you a stronger attack and increases how fast you attack. This is perfect for Pokemon who maybe attack a little bit slower than you want, and you want them to hit a little bit faster, a little bit harder. This is perfect for that. I run this on my Ninetales, I run this on like Zeraora, a couple other Pokemon it would benefit from this. Mew, put this on a Pokemon that you want to do a little bit more attack and a little bit faster, and this comes in clutch. There's also X speed. X speed happens every 50 seconds, so it's a lot longer than some of the others. And what this does is it increases your movement speed for like a short period of time. So that's pretty much it. It just makes you fast, and that's kind of clutch if you're trying to run to go do something, or perhaps you're getting attacked and you're trying to get away. That's another way of kind of escaping the situation. It happens every 50 seconds, so you know, might want to be a little careful if you use that item. You don't have to. Now, Fluffy Tail is interesting because this one is not so much for attacking the enemy players, but instead is more for attacking the wild Pokemon, because what this does is it basically stuns the wild Pokemon and it allows you to do more damage to them. And that's pretty much it. That's all this item does. I really don't see anybody ever running this item, but if for some reason you want to do a bunch of damage to the wild Pokemon, this is definitely the item for you. This one is called Eject Button. This one I see quite often. I see a lot of people with Eject Button. Basically, it allows you to dash or teleport a certain distance really fast. So I usually see this happen when people are getting away from a battle. When they know they're fighting and they can't really win the situation, they will try to run away and use Eject Button to get even farther away from the enemy so that they don't get eliminated and they could probably partner up with their team or something. This also goes through walls, as you see through the photo, and it's not too bad. It's 70 seconds. I believe this is the longest one you have to wait for because of how quick it is, but it's not too bad. It is definitely a pretty good item to have. We also have Slow Smoke. I use this every so often, not always, but basically what this does is it slows down the enemy team and it makes them slower when they attack for a short period of time. Not too bad. Sometimes it comes in clutch, especially if everybody's maybe a little grouped up, or if somebody's trying to get away and you know you could eliminate them. Not a bad item to have. 45-second cooldown. There is Full Heal. Usually I don't see a lot of people running Full Heal. It's really rare to see anybody use Full Heal, but this removes status conditions such as like you know, being burned or sleep or things like that. So Full Heal's okay, but you typically don't see really anybody using it. And then lastly, we have Goal Getter. This basically just doubles the speed for you to score on the enemy goals. Another one that, again, nobody really runs, and plus it has the longest cooldown of everything of 90 seconds, so it's not really worth it to use, especially when you can just eliminate the team and just get goals on your own. So in my opinion, I would definitely, if I had to recommend, would say Slow Smoke every once in a while, perhaps. Eject Button, maybe. X Attack is a real good one. I think those three would probably be my recommendations, and then maybe X Speed as a secondary or an honorable mention. Going back to the menu area, we're going to be checking out the held items. This is the thing that, remember, he said that you have to upgrade because you're going to get some type of game-changing boost off of it. This is not entirely true because, again, yes, you do get a benefit off of it, but it's nothing game changing. And again, what he doesn't really go into at all is that held items are kind of specific to certain Pokemon. If you look on the right, I have held items that give my Zeraora more attack, more defense, more special defense, as well as basic speed, attack, and critical hit rate. The reason why I have that on Zeraora is because if you guys remember, Zeraora is a speedster Pokemon, so he is like a glass cannon. He hits hard, so I want him to hit a little harder. He is kind of a fragile character, so I increase his special defense and his physical defense to kind of survive a tad bit more. And then critical hit rate and attack speed just so I could hit a little bit faster. But there's a thing that he doesn't say that is kind of important. If you look underneath Zeraora's name, it says attack. Now, if I were to switch to another Pokemon, let's say Ninetales, my favorite main, it says special attack. The reason for that is because there are two types of attackers in the game. There is attack and special attack. I like to say physical attack and special attack. Then the reason why it's like that is because some Pokemon are going to have a different build compared to others. So if you have this build, right, with Choice Specs, Wise Glasses, and Shell Bell, that's not going to work on Zeraora at all. It will give him the cooldown bonus, which is great, but he doesn't have any attack at all that is a special attack. So there is no point for him to have a build like this. So basically, if you guys are going to have held items, pick held items that are actually going to benefit and boost the stats of the Pokemon you're using, and make sure it's the right one too. You don't want to be increasing something that doesn't actually affect your Pokemon. It wouldn't make sense, like in the video when he first started, to be using Choice Specs on Charizard. Of course, I will give him the benefit that the game does not really explain really well how held items work, so I would definitely say either play around with it or go into a video on YouTube and look at somebody else's build on how it would work well for your Pokemon. But of course, you can always tweak it. That's some of the stuff that I've done before. Look at other people's stuff and kind of tweak what they did, and that's always worked out really well. Now, if you guys are wondering where do you get held items, you're gonna go all the way to the shops. You're gonna head on down to, I believe, the Ao's Emporium. And then what you're going to do is on the side is go down to items, and it's at the very bottom of the page. So you're going to see here, I own every item, but basically you can buy these with AO coins. You get coins every time you play, so as long as you're playing the game, you're going to get coins. And then if you know, hey, I maybe need these held items to benefit this, then you can just buy it and put it right on your Pokemon, level it up as you go. Now, to upgrade your Pokemon, your held items, you're going to need, I believe it's called AO Item Enhancers. Here it is. Item Enhancers, it's literally one item enhancer for every 10 tickets. You get 10 tickets literally just, for the most part, just playing the game. You get them daily. You can get the battle pass for it. But for the most part, you're probably just going to get them from dailies and challenges that they be having set out. You get tickets pretty fast, if I'm going to be honest with you. So if that were the case, you get some of those items. I don't have any at the moment. I don't feel like redeeming it, but you would go here, you would hit upgrade, and then of course you would keep upgrading until eventually you maxed out your items. So again, he has a point that yes, these do increase your stats and make you stronger, but it won't make you stronger if you're using the wrong ones, whether it be for the wrong Pokemon or just one that does not connect to your playstyle. And lastly, and I would argue is probably the more important item thing here to, enhance your Pokemon, is boost emblems. The reason why that one's a little bit more important is because you have what I would call a side effect, but also you get boosts off of it. So if you guys are ever wondering where you get boosted emblems, just know it's right here under the energy rewards, literally right there. You get one free daily. Make sure not to use it on fashion items because fashion items are not going to change anything, but make sure you go to boost emblem page, and then you can always get one daily. And of course, if you want to get more, all you have to do is play a couple games. You'll get more energy from doing that, and you can redeem, I believe, 30 a day. So that's not bad. But basically, we're just going to go back to the boost emblem page. and you're gonna see that I have a bunch of emblems, right? And you can also upgrade these. I'm gonna go down a little bit. You can upgrade some of these. This one I have silver, but I have 3 bronze. So the way that it works, if you have 3 bronze, you can upgrade it into 1 silver. If you have 3 silver, you can upgrade it into 1 gold. And of course, there's a whole percentage thing for all that to happen, but these things are going to help you out a ton. Going on to a random one here, like War Turtle, you can see that on the right it says -3 to defense, but plus 1.8 to special attack. We're just going to scroll down to another one, and we land on Oddish. So Oddish, if you were to have this one on, would give you 30 health. However, you would have -21 to movement speed. So you would actually be a little bit slower using this Oddish, but you would have a little bit more health. And of course, we could just go to random one again. Let's say the Machamp here. Machamp increases your attack by 1.2, but it lowers your special attack by 1.8. That is a fair trade, especially if you're a physical attacker, because you're not using special attack at all. So something like that can definitely benefit you. Of course, I do have a build going on. This is my Zera Aura build. I am missing 1 emblem to kind of complete everything. Eventually, I will get it. But basically what I have on this so far is that I have an additional 70 health, and then of course my attack goes down a bit, my defense, my special attack, my special defense all goes down. Now you're probably wondering, because from earlier I said I needed to have a lot more, so why would I make his defense go down? And that is because of the fact that 1, I kept more health, and 2, this is more focused on trying to get damage done so that I don't have to rely on constantly running away. But also, and I forgot to mention this, is that on the right side, you have additional effects or additional boosts if you have the right amount of emblems on your wheel. And of course, they have to be different emblems. They cannot be the same. So of course, I have 3 brown emblems here with 2 Sandslash and 1 Sandshrew. I do not get the benefit of 3. I only get the benefit of 2. So that increases my regular attack by 1%. So when it comes down to these, you just want to figure out, again, what works with your play style, what works best for you. And then I have this one right here, for example, kind of similar to what we just had with the Zera Aura, but this one I use for 3 different Pokemon. I use it for Charizard, Absol, Lucario. And again, this increases a lot of stuff. This increases my attack, but my defense, special attack all get lowered. My movement speed is lower. My critical hit is actually a lot higher, and that's kind of the point of this build for me, is that I'm trying to get my critical hit rate a lot higher, and then I can do an insane amount of damage. Of course, on the side we had the same benefits, you know, more attack by 4%, we have HP go up by 1%, we have special defense go up by 2%, so that kind of makes up for that -3 special defense. But anyways, you see that there's different builds that I have going on for different Pokemon, and that's because every Pokemon is not the same, and you again want to figure out what works best for you as playing that Pokemon. And again, this is definitely going to make a bigger impact on the game, because let's say, for example, there are some that make you lose health to get, let's say, more attack or things like that. If you want to run a build like that where your health is heavily reduced, but maybe you get more defense or more attack off of it, go for it. Mix and match these emblems, play around with them. You can use more than one of the same. If you look on the literally the left right there, I have 2 Vileplumes. I don't need 2 Vileplumes. I need to change one of those out because I want to get the benefits from over here. So definitely just play around with the emblems. You can always look online to see what emblems work best for your Pokemon, because I don't know what's the best emblem set for all the Pokemon. So you would definitely want to go online, maybe check what's the best Pokemon. You can always play around with it yourself. Maybe you want to run something different than normal. That, by all means, go right ahead. Just figure out what it is what Pokemon you like to play and what works best when you play as them. Post-production Neo here. I don't know how we lost 2 segments of this video, so we're going to go ahead and redo them right now and start off with teaching you guys about the practice area. Now, what's so awesome about the practice area is that it allows you to go into the game, play as pretty much any Pokemon you want. Literally every Pokemon that gets added into the game is just unlocked so that you can play as them and figure out whether or not you like to play as them. And I definitely encourage a lot of people to do that, because when you play Pokemon Unite, there is a lot of options. Each Pokemon plays very differently from the next, and you know, even roles kind of play a different effect on what Pokemon you might want to choose. So to get into all of that, all you got to do is click on your little icon on the top left and scroll down all the way to practice. Now when you get to the practice tab, you're gonna have 3 different tabs. Okay, 2 of them I would argue are important, one of them being really important, while the other one not so much. The important ones are going to be your tutorial and your practice area. Tutorial literally tells you everything that the battle guide would tell you, showing you literally how to play the game, what is the rules and how to go about it, you know, why you should defeat the Rotom and the Zapdos and wild Pokemon. It literally just tells you the effects and it has you do those things. Where if you go to battle guide, you could click on any of these maps and it's just going to tell you, hey, these are the same things you learn in the tutorial, and you just read them. So if you're a hands-on learner like me, hopping into tutorial is going to be your best option. But we're going to go ahead and get into the more important one, and that's going to be the practice area. Currently in Pokemon Unite, there is only 2 ways really to try out Pokemon. One of them is limited time licenses. So we're going to scroll all the way over to our Dodrio. Dodrio for me, and I believe Aegislash, is my limited time Pokemon. So you have like what, maybe a couple weeks to a month where I can play as these Pokemon in, you know, competitive and standard, etc. That is just completely up to the game on whether or not they want to let you have that Pokemon. I think everyone gets the same. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't really know. All I do know is that certain Pokemon, you get a chance to play as them, and then after a while, they will be gone. And it's up to you at that point whether or not you want to buy them or not. The same thing can kind of be said with practice mode. As you can see, we're in practice area. And if I were to keep scrolling, not a single one of these Pokemon that I have here are grayed out. Now, the reason why they're not grayed out is because it's practice area, so they want you to have access to every Pokemon in the game to figure out whether or not you like to play as them. Literally, Clefable here is the newest character to come out, so a good chunk of people are not going to have this character. If you go into your practice area, play as them, figure out what moves you like, etc., and you say, hey, I really like this Pokemon, I want to play as them in standard battles and such, you can then decide, are you going to buy this Pokemon or not? Again, at the moment, there's only 2 ways of buying a Pokemon. That is either going to be you spending your Aeos coins, which you get from playing regularly and grinding a little bit. And the other option is to actually throw in real money and buy the Pokemon that way. The choice is up to you of how you want to do that. I would definitely just recommend grinding the game a little bit, get those coins, they're pretty easy to get, and just buy the character that way. Coming on back to my Lucario here, what's super awesome is if you see on the left side, the bottom left, it says Battle Prep. If I click on that, it's going to pop up my Battle Prep page. Now, in practice, you probably should, you know, touch up your emblems beforehand, because what this does, at least if you go to this page, lets you switch between any boosted emblem sets that you made. So I only have 3 at the moment. I'm working on a 4th. And then, of course, if I want to use no emblems at all, I can do that. So since I'm playing as Lucario, that's what this build is for. Battle items, again, you can just switch between whatever battle items you want to use, and the same can be said with your held items. If you feel like, hey, I just want to change maybe this one to something else, I can go ahead and do that. Just again, make sure you're using the right held items for that character. Now, if we go over to a character like I have never played as before, Espeon for example, I can go over to Battle Prep and you can see that my boost emblems are still the same, but the battle items and the held items are completely different. So if I wanted to, let's just say for example, our Ninetales build works really well with Espeon, which it kind of does because Espeon is a special attacker. I can switch this, you know, to X attack. I can go in and go, hey, you know what? Let's get, you know, choice specs in here, do more damage. So you get to basically play around with this and just figure out whether or not you like to use that for your Pokemon. Another cool thing as well is you get to decide who is on the enemy team. Since it's only you practicing, you only get one other Pokemon to battle against. You can switch this to literally whoever you want. For this example, let's just use, I don't know, Mamoswine. That will be our Pokemon that we go up against. So once you pick everything that you want, I don't know if this even is the best build. I have a costume for Espeon, so I'll use it. You just go ahead, start it up, and then from this point you get to practice however way you want and figure out if you like the character. So what's awesome about being in the practice mode is you can actually play this like you would like any other game, really. So you can just attack these enemies here, right? I can use my X attack. Okay, Eevee's attacking a little bit faster. This is good stuff. However, if it's not really up to your pace and you just want to see like, hey, I'm playing as Espeon, I just want to see what abilities they have and whatnot. Oh look, there goes the enemy Pokemon there. So like really quickly before we do level up and stuff, we can see like, okay, how does this Pokemon do up against another Pokemon? And you can see him kind of struggling a bit. Boom, end up getting eliminated. So definitely, in my mind, at least what it says is I might not be using the right held items. Maybe I am, but since I am literally going up against a defender Pokemon, they're going to have a lot more higher health and defense. But another thing I was going to mention is that if you click on the options and go down to practice options, you can actually level up your Pokemon. So we're just going to get it all the way up to 9. And you can see that Espeon is now our playing Pokemon. We're just going to pick 2 random moves, Psy Shock and Psy Beam, and we can just attack. We can just attack the Pokemon, be like, okay, do I like these moves? Okay, how does the Alt Unite move work, etc. So this basically just allows you to try out the Pokemon and see if you like it or not. Figure out, hey, am I using the right, am I using the proper boost emblems? Am I using the right held items? Should I switch my attack items? There's a lot more things to it. And there's also these data dolls, I will call it, where you can just attack them and see how much damage you're doing per second. What is your total damage output? Different things like that. You could throw in your other attacks in with it to see if that maybe is more your speed. So there's a lot of different things, and again, if I wanted to, we could just go try to bully that Mamoswine, but it probably won't be a good example of how it would be maybe battling in the actual game, because you might be a little bit overpowered while the computer isn't really going to be basing its movements off of like real competitive people. The final thing that we do need to talk about is something that really is not explained that well in the game, but if you have it, you're almost guaranteed to win every time. The one thing you need to get yourself in Pokemon Unite is to get yourself a Nojo. Oh, there goes Nojo, level 5. Oh, I saw that Buzzwole. Stunned them for you guys. Oh my god, what the hell? Nojo just swooped in. What was that? Oh, look at that. Into a berry. Into Nojo killing that Garchomp. Just straight murder. Score. And then I got my Unite. Oh, a Rubber Veil over here as Nojo completely took them away. Oh my god, what is he doing? The Pikachu's murdered! But all jokes aside, I'm hoping that this video has definitely helped you guys somewhat get an understanding of what you might need to do in order to get better at Pokemon Unite. I don't want you guys to just, again, pick a Pokemon just because you like them, because you use them in the main series. I want you guys to select Pokemon that you're going to enjoy playing as. It wouldn't make sense to pick Pikachu if you have more fun playing as Blastoise. It would not make sense to pick Lucario when you do so much better with Cramorant, right? Just throwing some random examples out there. So definitely just, again, go into practice mode, try out some Pokemon, get an understanding of the Pokemon, how you like to play as them, get better with them, and then of course start looking into your held items and your boost emblems to increase the stats that complement your playstyle. Because again, it doesn't make sense to just only upgrade held items when boost emblems are going to be a greater stat change to your Pokemon. And again, that's going to change whether or not you die fast, and of course your playstyle will determine if you die fast. In the video, the guy always goes on, when you see him complaining that he's losing, it's typically him going out and trying to fight 2 or even 3 of the enemy team at the same time when he has no teammates. And then when he is showing that he's winning, it's typically him with his teammates. So do have an understanding that when you play Pokemon Unite, teamwork will make the dream work, okay? So keep that in mind. I'm hoping this video helped you guys out a lot. Again, I stream Pokemon Unite over on Twitch, so the link for that's going to be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. Please stay kind, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'm going to see you guys when we upload, hopefully, some more videos. You have a great day, everyone.